Well, welcome to the Foreclosure Answer Man podcast. I'm your host, Larry Bass. Today is December 15th, 2009, and we're going to talk a little bit about the situation of short sales and what is the best way to get a bank to respond to us so that we can get this home of yours sold. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with short sales, here's how this works. If we have a house that originally sold for $210,000 and the seller now owes $200,000 on it, but because of our Denver market, the value has currently dropped to $170,000. We have $30,000 that the owner would have to come to closing with, which very few people can do that these days. So the bank will then agree to sell the house for more of what the house is worth, maybe a little less than that, to avoid going through the complete foreclosure process, because more than likely they will go ahead and lose more money than even if they take in what they call the short sale. Now, problem we're going to have is once you get to that situation of a short sale, the foreclosure clock is ticking. Here in Colorado, you have about 110 to 120 days before the house goes into foreclosure once you receive the notice of election of demand, or the NED, from the public trustee of the county of where the house is in. So it's very important that we get this house, that we get a negotiator from the bank, someone who can approve the short sale, on our team as quickly as possible. Now, to do this, here's how this process works. A buyer buys a home. We're going to say buyer A here. If we put the house on the market, and again, it's worth maybe $170, and we put it on the market for $160, $165, kind of about a little bit less than what the house is worth, we may be waiting a lot longer for this buyer A to come, because that buyer is going to buy something that they can find cheaper on the market, maybe something for $145, $150. And we can't do anything with this house and with the bank's negotiator until we get an offer. So what I tell my clients what we should do is we're going to put in a lower offer than even what the retail is. Maybe something around $145, $150 if the house is worth $170, because we want to do two things. First thing we want to do is get a negotiator from the bank. And then the second thing is we want to find out where the bank will let this house go at. For example, if we do an offer $145 and the bank comes and they say, well, we could do this, but $155 is the lowest we can go. Now we can put it on the market for maybe $160, maybe $163, but knowing that we got a little room to play with to have the bank still accept the offer and minimize the damage to the bank and also get the house sold for the homeowner. Now, if we have to wait for buyer A to come, our clock is ticking. So if we put the house on the market for $165, it's worth $170. Buyers aren't going to come yet. The clock is ticking, ticking, ticking. I should find a clock and show you. Anyway, so we put in this trial offer. We get the bank on our side, get a negotiator, and then we continue with the short sale process. Now, it's very important that the homeowner understand there's a lot of paperwork involved in this. The homeowner is going to need to provide us, the realtors, or our short sale negotiators that many of us have, is last 2 years tax returns, last couple months bank statements, pay stubs, any type of investments that they have. Let's see what else they're going to need. They're going to need a hardship letter explaining the situation that they're in, why they can't make the payments. So all of that paperwork, plus some paperwork on our side, listing agreements, any type of company disclosures, that plus the title company paperwork, such as title commitments, a HUD-1 settlement statement. All that paperwork has to be gotten together, faxed over to the bank, and many times that's like over 100 pages, sometimes maybe 125 pages worth of documents faxing to the bank. So these negotiators have stacks of papers for every stinking house. And I've talked to them where many of these negotiators have 300 to 400 files on their desk at one time. They are overwhelmed, and that is why it's taken them so long to get back to us. So they will not even look at a file or a property that's in foreclosure unless there is an offer on it, because they don't have the time to spend on this when no one wants to buy the house. So we've got to get an offer. So that is the reason why we do a trial offer. it's important that people understand that they've got to work with a realtor who thinks outside the box. If you just throw it on the multi-list, throw it at the retail price, and think someone's going to buy the house in this market, because buyers right now have a mindset of, I want a deal, because many of them are afraid that the price of the home, even if they buy it at a good deal now, may even go lower, and unfortunately, they may even be right. Right now, there's a lot of homes that are in the loan modification process where many of the people cannot continue to make that loan modification, even though the payment's a lot lower than they were in the past. They can't make it because their job incomes, and they get a new job, and the job just pays a lot less than it did before. Unfortunately, you still have the whole divorce situation. And a lot of these loan modification loans are not coming through. And what's happening now is most people are buying homes with FHA loans, which is 3.5% down, which is not much money if your house is going into foreclosure. So now we've got maybe a new group of homes, maybe in the next 3 to 5 years, that actually may go into foreclosure as well. So are we out of this bubble yet? I don't think so. I wish we were. Certain parts of the country might be a little bit, even certain parts in the same city. I'm in the Denver area. The Capitol Hill may be a little bit better than what Castle Pines North is doing. But overall, it's a pretty tough situation. So I need to encourage you, if you are behind in your payments, you need to talk to a realtor that knows what they're doing on this whole short sale process. So if you have any questions, you can reach me at Larry at 303-944-2277. Also, you can go to my website, foreclosureanswerman.com, and I'm going to put up the sign there here in just a moment. But I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and just want to let you know that even if you are in this situation, don't give up hope. There is hope. We can help you. Your life will still go through, and blessing to you and your family. So enjoy the season. Don't stress over this. Just go ahead and call someone who you think will care and who knows what they're doing. So thanks, and you have a great evening.